Here I am in Opposing Viewpoints. This, by the way, is a great place to come if you're not sure what kind of topic you might be interested in for a project, but you've already got that settled. But I still think it's a really helpful source, and here's why. Let's say you're researching the way that Elon Musk uses social media. What are some things you might search for? You might search for entrepreneurship and social media. You might search for AI and social media. You might search for climate change and technology. There are some things that you might be searching for, but here's an idea. I'm just going to see what other people are saying about Elon Musk on Twitter. And by the way, the reason why I didn't want you to write about Elon Musk is just because everybody's talking about him on Twitter because he's so idiosyncratic. And I've already read a lot of papers about him. It's not because I hate him. Okay, so that was a pretty specific search. You're not always going to come up with results with that specific of a search, but because, like I said, a lot of people are talking about him in the news, you actually are. Here's a great resource. And the thing that I love about Opposing Viewpoints is that it splits up the resources. First of all, they're all credible sources. You definitely need to be looking at who is writing and from what perspective, but they're all credible sources. It'll bring them some news sources via audio. It'll bring in some news sources. Oftentimes, there'll also be a section here called magazines. In fact, I bet if we just looked up Elon Musk really quickly, you'll see what I mean. There'll probably be some opposing viewpoint articles too, which is great because it often gives you the full context of the discussions that are being had currently about this person. So there is one viewpoint essay, and this is an essay curated by Opposing Viewpoints about a particular topic that strikes controversy in some way. But this isn't necessarily about Elon Musk. I'm sure he's just mentioned in here. It's an article, a viewpoint essay about traveling to Mars. Okay, but look what else we bring up. Academic journals, a reference. We have some images, some videos, some news, some magazines, and some statistics. And this is why I love Opposing Viewpoints. It really breaks up the content types for you, so you can look for the kind of resource that you're really looking for. So one of these sources, a book review, Lords of the Universe. Did he write a book? If so, I have no idea. I'm just going to pull it up because I'm curious. Elon Musk conducts press conference. So that might be something that you bring in just to show the context of the sort of things that people turn to him to look for. SEC sues Elon Musk over Tesla. I bet that was it about the tweet about going public. So that might be an interesting NPR source to listen to. The Silicon Mystique. Ooh, I'm interested in this. Let's look at this. Okay, so this is from Harper's, which is a magazine that I really like. It's usually long-form journalism, so they're longer essays, and a lot of investigation and primary research usually informs the articles. And here's what this essay is about. Tesla Inc. CEO Elon Musk has believed the likelihood that people are not living in a simulated world. And there are signs that he might be going mad. Musk's behavior seemed like the early sign of a technological crisis of faith and an actual fit of dread. Musk warned people about the dangers posed by artificial intelligence, and perhaps his humanity is the reason he cracked. I have no idea what this is. I would like to see the full article. How do I do that? Usually it will have the full article here, but if it doesn't, then it's going to have a link. So I'm just going to actually, but I hope that doesn't bring me back right here. We'll see. You can't see what I'm saying. All right. I'm not exactly sure why it's not pulling up the full essay. That happens sometimes, but now that I know the title of this essay, it's probably going to be pretty easy for me to find it. The Mystique. Harper's magazine. You can't see this, but I'm Googling it, and here it is. I'm Googling it. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, because I need to be a subscriber. Here it is. I found it. I don't know why. I'll share this with you so you can just see what I came up with. And but continuing forward, the Say Anything CEO. Let's just go back to see what we found with him in Twitter, so I can talk you through an example about how you might incorporate a secondary source into your analysis about Elon Musk, given I know that you'll apply this to your own topic. Most CEOs are rightfully afraid of Twitter, not Elon Musk. This is a news article. I don't know where it was published. So usually it will give you the full text here. And you can save it, send it to your folder, print it, all those great things. Another great thing about Opposing Viewpoints is that at the end it provides you, this is MLA, but you can change your settings so that it offers you a citation in APA. So that's great. Let's see what Jenna McGregor is saying. It's an understatement to say that Tesla CEO Elon Musk's tweeting is different from perhaps that of any other public company CEO. He responds off the cuff to journalists and random followers, shares odd memes, uses the platform to announce go private deals for blah, 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 and then mocks the CEC after settling with it. In that regard, blah, 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 Musk is supposed to have something in common with other CEOs. Okay, I don't know. So this might be interesting if you're wanting to provide some context about what CEOs of major companies like Tesla, what control they often have over the Twitter page, and how Elon Musk's control over or his Twitter page is unique. So you might bring in this quotation by Jenna, and you would lead it up to saying, Jenna McGregor, a journalist for the Washington Post, explains that many similar CEOs don't have such off-the-cuff access to their Twitter page. And then you would follow up about how that's important to your thesis about how Elon Musk uses it in a different or odd way to come off as a human or as silly or funny or whatever it is. Whatever it is that you find from the article that you think is interesting, the key to succeeding in integrating your secondary sources is to always have a quotation sandwich or a paraphrase sandwich or a summary sandwich. Don't just throw in an idea and move on. Make sure you lead up to it, and it's less awkward if you use the author's last name. McGregor, a journalist for blah, 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 writes, in that same template, the last name, author, and a strong active verb often makes it clear that you're bringing in a secondary source. Okay? And so here's just one example of how you might use opposing viewpoints to find a source that's interesting to you. And the last piece of advice that I will leave you with is that if you feel like you're struggling with secondary sources in this assignment, follow your curiosity. If you're really interested in the way that Oprah represents herself as a homemaker, look up Oprah and homemaker, see what comes up. Or look up Oprah and her Instagram, see what other people are saying. I have no idea what this is going to bring up, by the way. Okay. Interesting. That might not be appropriate for your analysis, but interesting. It's sort of an international segment. What if you're looking at Beyonce and her feminist social media? Let's just look up Beyonce and Instagram really quickly and see what comes up, if anything. And again, the opposing viewpoints is more limited than Google, but it's more curated. Okay, maybe not. You get the idea. Follow your interests. I have no idea what that even means. Do you guys? I'm not going to say it. What if it means something bad? Anyways, my point in following this, this is actually probably pretty pertinent. If you're writing a rhetorical analysis of Beyonce's Instagram page, then you might bring in a bit about how Beyonce and Jay-Z use their social media to create excitement around Halloween. That might be a good example to show how they capitalize and how somebody else has been talking about it. Beyonce, it would seem, speaks loudest through images and music. That would definitely be something I highlight and perhaps even quote as I'm analyzing her Instagram page. Right, this is super interesting. So this is an article from the New York Times. Let's see who wrote this. Victor Mather. This is an article by Victor Mather in the New York Times in which he really is analyzing how Beyonce and Jay-Z have used costumes on their social media sites to create a certain response from their followers. So this would be a great source. I would save it, print it, and think about incorporating it. So what I really want to leave you with is sometimes Google seems like the best place to start, but there's so much on Google. Sometimes going to one of these curated databases that really sort of does a lot of the work for you of sorting and sifting through ideas is a better place to start. And you get these for free by being an ASU student. You might as well take advantage of them. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.